Zillow recently named Kansas City as the fastest selling market in the entire country, but not all areas are as hot as others. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the hottest areas that we're seeing many buyers gravitate towards and where homes are selling the fastest. And stick around until the end, where I'll share a few tips on how to avoid ultra competitive offer situations and how to win if you find yourself in a bidding war. Stay tuned. Homes in Kansas City are selling like hotcakes. Recently, Zillow shared data that showed that Kansas City was tied with only Columbus, Ohio for the fastest selling homes in the country. On average, homes sell in just 4 days here in Kansas City, and there are areas in the metro where they're selling much faster than that, some in less than 24 hours after hitting the market. But before we dive into where these areas are, let's take a look at why homes are selling so quickly compared to other areas. Kansas City is still suffering from an inventory shortage, which is pushing homes to sell faster and for more money. In February, about 33% of listings sold over asking compared to just 23% in 2019. Meanwhile, inventory has decreased by 1.8% year over year, but demand has increased by a whopping 8.2%. And when you add to the equation that we're in the middle of the spring market, when the demand is at its absolute highest, it's like throwing gasoline on a bonfire. Welcome back, I'm Kyle, and this is Moving to Kansas City. And every week, I bring you the latest on real estate, lifestyle, and developments taking place in the Kansas City area. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to stay in the know. I'm also a licensed realtor, and my team and I are helping folks just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest throughout KC. So if you check any of those boxes, shoot me a call, text, or email, and we'd love to help. Now that we know why homes are selling so fast in Kansas City, let's look at the hottest areas around the metro. These are places where the homes are selling the fastest and where competition is the fiercest. These are areas where I've had some huge wins for clients along with some devastating losses. We'll also get into why these areas are so sought after. The first area where homes are selling the fastest is in zip code 66215. This is an area along the I-35 corridor in Johnson County that encompasses parts of Overland Park and Lenexa. It spans north to 79th Street, south to just past I-435, and the east-west boundaries are Quivira and Lackman Road. At the time of recording this video, there are only 15 active homes for sale with an average list price of $413,000. Looking at pending home sales, there are currently 32 and another 26 that have sold over the past 30 days. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about how to go about calculating the monthly supply of homes. It's a simple equation where we take the number of active homes for sale divided by the number of homes sold over the past 30 days. This gives us our month's supply for that given area. In 66215, there's currently a little over a half a month supply of homes on the market, meaning that it's only gonna take about 2.5 weeks to sell those 15 homes. And if we add in the pending sales, we end up with only about a week's supply, which is likely more accurate for this area. But why? Why are homes selling so fast in this particular zip code? Well, Lenexa and Overland Park are both at the top of the list when it comes to suburbs in Johnson County. In fact, niche.com ranks Overland Park as the number 2 best place to buy a home in America. Beyond that, the average sales price over the past 60 days in Overland Park is $552,000, while the average sales price in Lenexa is $544,000 over that same period. And let me tell you, anything that hits the market under that average sales price is typically going to sell very quickly, which is exactly the case for 66215. We're looking at a zip code that is predominantly filled with what is in essence your starter home for Johnson County. 75% of the current 15 active listings hit the market within the past couple of days, so it's likely that most will be sold before the weekend has even come to an end. Another area where homes are flying off the shelves is in the most sought after zip code in Kansas City, Missouri. 64113 is the predominant zip code for the Brookside neighborhood. This area continuously ranks as the top place to live in the entire metro and Kansas City area. It's where I moved when I returned to Kansas City from Denver in 2020, and I can vouch, it's incredible. Brookside is one of those places that feels like you're in a different country almost. It was one of the first suburbs built in South Kansas City and has this incredible downtown shopping area. Most of the shops and restaurants here are local, but what really makes Brookside one of the best places to live in the city is that downtown Brookside has not one, but 2 grocery stores. So you don't have to hoof it across town when you realize that you're out of eggs in the middle of cooking dinner. I was a regular at Constantino's Market when I lived right around the corner. Shout out to my guy, Ryan. And not only that, but you have these beautiful historic homes and tree-lined streets with these massive trees. I could go on and on. It's amazing. But let's talk about the real estate. Currently, there are 20 active, 23 pending, and another 23 that have sold over the past 30 days. So Brookside, or at least the bulk of Brookside, is sitting right around 3 weeks of supply. Of those active listings, the lowest priced home is listed at, get this, $450,000, and the median list price is $950,000. 5 of those listings are located in the Sunset Hill neighborhood, ranging from 1.3 to 8.5 million, but I wouldn't technically consider that Brookside. Speaking of specific neighborhoods located within 64113, most of the Brookside area located within that zip code includes what many purists consider to be the OG Brookside, which has east-west boundary lines of State Line and Oak Street. However, I consider the eastern boundary line to extend from Oak to Troost, which would encompass zip codes like 64110 and 64131. The homes tend to get a bit smaller and the prices a bit lower the further east you go in Brookside. The median list price in 64110, for example, is $269,000 with a max price of $550,000, while the median sales price in 64131 is just $214,000 with a max price of $410,000. However, both of these zip codes extend quite a bit beyond the Brookside area. But if it's the original that you're after, then you're looking at around a $600,000 median home price. That being said, there are 29 listings between active, pending, and sold over the past 30 days under that $600,000 price point. In fact, there were 5 in the 300s, 12 in the 400s, and 11 in the 500s. So it's not impossible to get in Brookside under that median home price. However, anything under that is going to be ultra competitive, which is a good time to remind you to stick around until the end, where I'm going to share some tips and some tricks that have worked well for my clients in buying in this market. And if you'd be so kind to hit that like button, I'd certainly appreciate it. Next on our list of the hottest areas in the metro, we have none other than 64063, which is the zip code that includes downtown Lee Summit and the surrounding neighborhoods. Downtown Lee Summit is one of my favorite downtowns amongst the suburbs across the metro, if not my favorite. I recently did a pros and cons of Lee Summit where I talked extensively about the downtown area, which you can watch here. But why is it so sought after? Well, it's one of the few places in Lee Summit where you can live in a walkable neighborhood. It's also where nearly all of the historic homes are located, and many of them have been renovated or flipped. Looking at it by the numbers, there are currently only 8 active listings, 14 pending, and 14 sold over the past 30 days. That leaves us with a mere 2 weeks worth of inventory. The home prices in this area is another big reason why it's so highly sought after, with a median sales price of $315,000 and a max sales price of $575,000. Compared to the rest of Lee Summit, this is a steal, with the current median sales price sitting at $412,000 over the past 30 days. Meanwhile, the median list price is currently hovering around $560,000. So when we combine all the reasons why someone would want to live in downtown Lee Summit, like the lower median home price and its walkability, it's easy to see why this is one of the hottest selling areas in the entire metro. Heading north, the 64118 zip code in the Northland is really heating up in terms of real estate. This zip code encompasses some of Kansas City, Gladstone, and Oakwood, with north-south boundaries of Berry Road and Vivian Road, Prospect Avenue to the east, and a western boundary of just past 169 Highway. We're talking 20 active listings, 50 pending transactions, and 41 properties sold in just the past month, leaving us with less than 2 weeks of inventory. So what's causing all this excitement for homes in this area? It's all about price point. Believe it or not, the median home price for all the homes on the market, active, pending, and sold, is only $270,000. And get this, there are even 13 homes listed under $200,000 over the past month. But it's not just the affordability that's drawing people in. One big draw to this area is its inclusion in the North Kansas City School District, which is one of the most sought after districts north of the river. In fact, niche.com ranks it as the second best district in Clay County. Plus, the location is fantastic. You're just minutes away from North KC, and it's an easy drive down 169 to get into downtown Kansas City. And if you're worried about travel, don't be. You're only 15 minutes from the airport. With all these factors combined, it's no wonder that 64118 is seeing such a flurry of activity in the housing market. This last area has the least amount of active inventory, with only 3 homes currently for sale. When we add in the 26 pending and 14 sold over the past 30 days, that leaves us with less than a week of supply. The zip code is 66207, and it's evenly split between Prairie Village and Overland Park. Its boundaries are Mission Road to the east and Lamar Avenue to the west, 83rd to the north, and 435 to the south. To be honest, it doesn't get much better than this as far as location goes. At the zip code center is the former 136-acre country club turned park in Meadowbrook Park, which includes several lakes, playgrounds, pickleball courts, and walking trails. You also have places like Knoll Hills and Overland Park, in Town and Country Estates and Prairie Village, which are some of the most sought after neighborhoods in the entire metro. But let's talk real estate. There are homes that have sold in this zip code from as low as $205,000 to as high as $1.6 million. So there's a diverse catalog of real estate in this single zip code. Just recently, I wrote an offer for a client in the Knoll Hills neighborhood. It was a 2,000 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath home that hadn't been lived in for 8 years. It was listed for $275,000, but here's the thing. The one across the street had recently sold for $550K. Yeah, it needed work, but it had good bones and brought out first-time home buyers and investors alike. We ended up writing an offer for $330,000, waiving inspections, and lost. There were a total of 16 offers, and the winning offer was for $360,000 cash. So these are the types of situations you'll find in this zip code. The current median sales price is $432,000, and as with other competitive regions that we've discussed so far, anything under that median is going to garner a lot of attention. So now that we've looked at some of the fastest selling areas in Kansas City, let's take a look at some strategies for winning in this super competitive environment that we're in. While these areas take the cake when it comes to the fastest selling homes in Kansas City, the reality is that this is true for many other areas that I didn't cover in this video. Now, just to be clear, these are tips for buyers because sellers clearly don't need much pointers in the fastest selling market in the country. If you're a seller and your house isn't selling, then you're either priced too high or there's something wrong with it. To all my buyers out there, let's address the elephant in the room. It's tough out there for buyers right now. I hear you. I feel you. I really do. I've got several clients who've seen homes they've adored slip through their fingers, leaving them disappointed. But hey, it's not all gloom and doom. On the flip side, I've also had some fantastic success stories where we've emerged victorious. Here are some pointers if you're looking to get ahead in this market as a buyer. Tip number 1, don't buy during the spring market. Wait, a realtor telling me not to buy a home? Yeah, you heard that right. Every year, we see home prices rise and home prices fall, and the peak almost always falls within the months of May, June, and July. This is because most people make their moves during the summer, and a big reason for this is that many families are trying to get out of their current home and into their new one before the start of the school year, and this leads to an increase in demand during the spring and early summer months. Remember what I said at the beginning of this video? Kansas City is still dealing with a scarcity of homes for sale. So when you add more demand to a market with a limited supply, it leads to more people bidding on the small amount of homes available. Not only that, but these buyers typically have more buying power due to selling another home and are more qualified, meaning they can do things like waive inspections, offer more, or include appraisal guarantees. Now, many of my clients who are relocating don't have the luxury of waiting, and I'll get into some other tips that will help if you have to buy now. However, if you can wait out the peak market months, it can save you a lot when it comes to emotional and financial stress. Tip number 2, avoid resale. When we look at the numbers for resale, meaning non-new construction homes, there's quite a big discrepancy when it comes to days on market versus new construction. The average days on market for resale is 35 days compared to new construction, which is 168 days. Now, this is a little skewed considering that some agents list a new construction home before it's been completed. However, the reality is that resale homes are selling faster. This is due to there being a higher price point for new construction, with the median sold price currently sitting at $535,000. But if you have a budget of $500,000 or more, you can typically avoid a bidding war if you choose to go the new construction route. And tip number 3. Keep an eye out for homes that have been listed for longer than 4 days. Typically, it's the freshly listed properties that fly off the market the quickest. However, don't overlook homes that have been sitting for a bit longer. Sometimes these gems didn't shine brightly during their initial debut or didn't garner much attention in the first week. This means you might encounter less competition and even find a bit more room for negotiation. Now, there are some other tips that I have up my sleeve that have benefited my clients greatly in competitive situations, but I can't give away all of my secrets. So, if you're looking to make a splash in this market, then my team and I would love a chance to put you in a winning situation. Shoot us a call, text, email, anytime. Okay, so we've seen all the hottest selling areas, but what if you're new to the area and have no idea where these spots are? Well, then you're gonna wanna watch this next video here where I do a full map tour of the entire Kansas City metro area. See you on the next video.